Hello everyone. Today we are going to understand the salient features of Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samhita. Okay. So, this is the most important probable question it could be for all LLB students. So, that is why we are understanding them point by point, one after the other we are understanding only the points. Okay. We are not going very like we are not going in very detailed manner, like what all sections say this, what all sections say this, because there are like more than 80 to 100 changes which we can say. So, that is why let us reduce it into some of the points, maybe within 10 to 15 points, and understand them, because if you get like 10 to 15 marks question, you must be able to write them in points. Okay. You have to classify them and you have to write in different bullet points. So, likewise I am going to teach you. So, we know that Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samhita, it was it came into force from July 1st, 2024. Earlier to that, maybe in August or September 2023, it was introduced in the Parliament, and the first draft was referred to Parliamentary Committee, and it was some changes were suggested. So, later again second draft was submitted to the session Parliament, and it was approved in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, and also by the President gave the assent in December 2023, and that is why Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyama, sorry, all the three laws, not only Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyama, all the three new criminal laws, they were implemented, they were notified, and it came into force from July 1st, 2024. So, what was the necessity of introducing Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samhita? As we all know, the old criminal laws, that is CRPC, IPC, and the Indian Evidence Act, they were said to be British laws, archaic laws, what we say, because some of the terms or the procedure and most of the like what we say, the structure, the legal language, everything was in British language, British of those Britishers. But now we can see some of the Indianized terms, like we do not have advocate, sorry, we do not have barrister, vakil, pleader, all these words are not there. We have only the advocate in advocate word which is used in Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyama. Likewise, we can see many such Indianized words, and also some archaic terms like queen, colony, all these words have been omitted. Okay. And moreover, criminal procedure code, it was the whatever code was repealed, it was implemented in 1973, and timely there were changes like 2013 amendment, 2018 amendment were also there, but still there was a need for the law which needed an upgradation with regard to the technology, because we see many audio, video, electronic related terms can be found in Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samhita, and also they needed a quick disposal. Okay. That is why the timelines have been fixed for certain procedures, and they have somewhere for some procedures they have been made mandatory and some are discretionary. But we can see that like all of, like if we bring all the salient features in a very under 5 points, we can classify the salient features as: the first major change is with regard to the electronic means, audio, video, electronic means, electronic communication. So, like more than 40 to 50 sections have been substituted with these terminologies. Okay. So, it means like they have been upgraded with regard to the new technological era. That is the first feature what we can say. The second feature is we see that many timelines have been prescribed, be it in giving judgment or in framing charges, or with regard to preliminary inquiry, or in many such cases, or uploading the judgment. We see the timeline has been fixed for those procedures. And the third important feature could be regarding the increase of the police powers. Police have been given like vast powers compared to the earlier CRPC. Even the CRPC was said to be draconian, but the present sections say it shows that police have been given vast powers, which also could be arbitrary as per legal experts. So, that is the third change, and the fourth change is this law is said to be more victim centric and citizen centric. Okay, the citizen centric approach has been given. They say like victims are being provided with the information of the investigation, or victims are given the copy, supplied with the copies of the investigation or a charge sheet. So, likewise so many changes are there. And the last important feature, we can classify them as with regard to the proclaimed offender. The proclaimed offender, the list has been changed, and even in the absence of proclaimed offender, trial can be conducted. So many changes have been made with respect to proclaimed offender and proceeds of the crime. So, under these 5 categories we can classify all other changes. Okay. So, if I have to summarize, the first one is with regard to audio video electronic means, second is with regard to the timelines, the third one is with regard to victim centric approach, the fourth is regarding the expansion of the police powers, and the fifth one is with regard to the proclaimed offenders. Okay. So, let us understand them one by one under like these headings. So, with the help of the flow chart, it would be easy to remember. So, the first like iconic change with reference to the BNSS is the FIR. So, while registering FIR, now a new concept, electronic FIR and zero FIR has been they have been included. Zero FIR is something where irrespective of the jurisdiction, irrespective of the offence, you can submit the information to any of the police station, that is said to be zero FIR. And FIRs also can be registered electronically as per the new BNSS, and the timeline says that within 3 days you have to physically sign that EFIR. Okay. And with regard to the preliminary inquiry, we can see that the police need not register the cases immediately in certain types of cases where the offence is punishable with 3 years to 7 years of imprisonment. In such cases, police may conduct the preliminary inquiry, and within 14 days they may register it. So, that is one of the important change, new concept which has been included in FIR only. And with regard to the rights of the arrested person, they have been maintained, but with regard to electronic communication and digitalization, some changes have been added. Okay. And also we can see the arrested person here, it can be related to handcuff usage. See, earlier it was not clear whether the police were supposed to use handcuffs or not, but Supreme Court had very clearly stated that handcuffs should not be used under exceptional circumstances. But now they have given a list of offences stating that like in the offences more than 10 years of punishment, or in the case of habitual offenders, or the person who is about to escape from the custody, for him handcuff may be used. So, it is affecting the rights of the arrested person, and which is also quite contrary to the Supreme Court judgment. So, that is one important feature what we can say. And with regard to the forensic investigation, whenever there is a crime has taken place, that too a serious offence which is punishable with 7 years or more, the forensic investigation has been made compulsory, and such forensic investigation has to be compulsorily recorded audio video through audio video electronic means. That is one major change with regard to forensic investigation. And we can see that medical examination of the accused. The accused needs to be medically examined. Earlier it had to be requested by a certain cadre of police officer, but now any police officer can request for the medical examination of the accused. That is one major change. Regarding police powers, if certain persons are not obeying the police direction, police can detain them. That is one new law which we can see, new provision which has been included. Police have the power to detain them if they are not obeying the police direction. So, that is a huge power. Okay. And the rest of the provisions have been continued from CRPC, like issuing dispersing the unlawful assembly. In all those cases, police have the same powers. And with regard to the collection of the samples, when samples are being collected, earlier it was only with respect to signature or handwriting. Now, like voice samples and many such samples have been given. Okay. So, it has been expanded. the scope has been expanded with regard to the collection of the samples. And we all know that timeline, I have already told you regarding timeline, many deadlines have been fixed. As in case of when there is a committal proceedings, it has to be done within 90 days, or when the accused or victim are there, they should be supplied with the investigation or charge sheet report within 14 days, or the accused has to file a discharge application within 60 days in the session trial. This is the same in the case of warrant trial also, or the court has to frame charges within 16 days, sessions trial or warrant trial. The session judge has to pass judgment within 30 days, maximum 45 days can be given, and there cannot be more than 2 adjournments. The plea bargaining application has to be done within 30 days window. Likewise, the judgment has to be uploaded within 7 days of the date of the judgment, or preliminary inquiry has to be done within 14 days. Electronic FIR must be signed within 3 days. So, we see a long list of timelines or deadlines which are found here. Okay. This is one such thing. And next salient feature is, earlier there was Metropolitan Magistrate, Assistant Sessions Judge in CRPC, such courts were there. So, those cities which have population of 10 lakhs or more, they were said to be metropolitan area, and Metropolitan Magistrate Court was constituted there. But now the new act has omitted those provisions regarding Metropolitan Magistrate and Assistant Sessions Judge also. Okay, so we can skip them. We can skip them means the act has skipped them, omitted them. So, that is why no need to study, or these courts are not at all there now. And electronic communication, when it comes to electronic communication, like in all aspects, right from issuing summons or conducting trial, or supplying the copies through electronic media, or examination of the witnesses or accused through electronic media, or submitting the charge sheet through electronic communication. So, all this can be done. So, electronic communication plays a very important role in the new BNSS, because it is somewhere, it is lessening the time of these cases, and also like moreover more than in like 40 to 50 sections have been changed, where electronic communications or audio video electronic means these words have been substituted or newly added to those sections. And when it comes to bail, okay, so the bail sections have been retained with some minute changes with respect to some of the safeguards, and the police cannot easily oppose bail. Likewise, it has been made, it has clarified the scope of bail, so in some sections have been done so. And when it comes to the bail of under trial prisoners, if an under trial prisoner has spent his time in the prison more than the half of the maximum punishment which is prescribed for the offence for which he is charged, he could be released on bail. So, this was already there in CRPC, but as per new BNSS, another provision has been made. So, if a person is a first time offender, if he is an under trial prisoner, first time offender, and if he has spent 1/3 period also in jail, 1/3 period of the maximum punishment prescribed for the offence for which he is charged, even then he may be released. Okay, that is one another new important section, we can say, a new important change with regard to the bail. And mercy petitions have been included. So, mercy petitions is a petition where accused will apply to the either president or the governor when he has been awarded with the death sentence. So, this was there in constitution, but in BNSS a newly included provision, and it prescribes certain procedure for filing for mercy petition. And as I already told, victim centric provision have been included in BNSS, be it regard to supplying them with the copies of the charge sheet, or informing about the progress of the investigation, or prosecution cannot withdraw from the prosecution without informing the victim. So, all these changes have been made. So, victim is being heard now. As per the new BNSS, victim has been given more prominence. And when it comes to the last 3 features, see, it could be regarding the proclaimed offender. So, proclaimed offender is someone who has been declared as proclaimed offender. So, there was a list of offences earlier, but now that list has been omitted, and it says that whoever who has committed offence punishable with 10 years or more, he may be proclaimed as an offender. Okay? And even in his absence, trial can be given and judgment also can be given against him. Even in his absence, in absentia, trial of proclaimed offender it is called as. And moreover, his property can be attached in a foreign country, it can be identified and attached in a contracting state. Okay, these 2 sections are with regard to the proclaimed offender. And also, when there is a proceeds of the crime, when a crime is committed and some of the proceeds are there with regard to crime, some property is there. So, that can be disposed by the government. So, for that the magistrate, the police, they can they have certain procedure which they can follow. So, new provision which has been included in BNSS. So, these we can say that these are all the salient features of the Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Samhita, which are the main highlights of BNSS. Okay. These are the main changes also, and the rest of the important segments of the criminal procedure, they have been continued, be it trial or charges, when it comes to the framing of charges or many such things, they have been continued. These are the new changes, that is why they are also the salient features what we can say. Okay. So, this was all about the background of BNSS. In a very short manner I have mentioned. In the later class I will explain in detail regarding the background of BNSS and the constitutional dimensions also. When it comes to constitutional dimensions, it would be good if I explain that with the rights of the arrested person, because many constitutional provisions are there with regard to this. So, along with some of the other important sections we can add it to them. Okay. So, these are the rights of the arrested person, we can say. With respect to that we can discuss constitutional dimensions. Okay. So, this was all about salient features of BNSS. So, thank you for your patient listening and see you in my next class. Take care. Bye bye. Take care.